You see cyber attack headlines constantly,
Yeah.
but there was this one statistic that really, really caught my eye.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
From the UK's National Cybersecurity Center, they're saying there's been a 38% jump in ransomware attacks.
Wow, 38%.
Yeah, just in the past year. And specifically hitting supply chain organizations.
Mhm.
It really shines a light on how the UK logistics industry is becoming, well, a prime target.
It really does. And if you think about it, the logistics sector, it's sort of perfectly set up for these kinds of attacks.
How so?
Well, think about it. They handle just massive amounts of sensitive data, customer details, shipment info, all that stuff.
Right, everything needed to move goods around.
Exactly. And their operations are super time sensitive. Any disruption is a big deal. Plus, their networks are incredibly interconnected. Suppliers, partners, contractors, everyone's linked.
Okay, makes sense.
And let's be honest, historically, maybe cybersecurity hasn't always had the same level of uh, funding or focus as in, say, banking.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
And that's why this story from SMA Worldwide is so interesting, isn't it?
Absolutely. They're a logistics company, and they recently faced a pretty sophisticated cyber attack attempt.
Attempted, so they stopped it.
They did, thankfully, yeah. No breach. And what's great is they're actually sharing their experience.
That's quite unusual, isn't it? Companies often keep quiet.
It is unusual, but really valuable. Think of it like a real-world case study. They're basically opening up their playbook to help other companies see the risks and figure out how to protect themselves.
So that's our mission for this deep dive then, to pull out the key lessons from what happened to SMA Worldwide.
Exactly. We want to dissect what they went through, look at their recommendations, and give you, the listener, actionable insights. Whether you're in logistics or just interested in security, you'll get a clearer picture of the threats and how to build defenses without, getting lost in technical jargon.
Okay, great. So let's dig into this threat landscape first. That 38% ransomware increase you mentioned, that's pretty alarming.
It is. It's a big jump. And based on what SMA Worldwide saw and what we see generally, the common ways attackers get in are probably familiar.
Like what? Phishing.
Phishing is definitely a big one.
Right.
Tricking employees with fake emails or links to steal logins. Then ransomware, obviously, locking up systems.
The one that's on the rise?
Yep. Insider threats are also a worry that could be someone deliberately causing harm or just someone making an honest mistake that creates an opening.
Right. Not always malicious.
Not always. And finally, supply chain compromise. That's where they attack a partner or vendor who might have weaker security to get into your network.
Okay, so multiple angles.
Mhm.
And the damage, even from a short disruption,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably more than just inconvenient, right?
Oh, definitely. The consequences can be massive. You've got the operational losses, first shipments delayed, maybe stopped completely. That costs money, damages trust.
And your reputation takes a hit.
Huge reputational damage, especially if customer data gets out or services just become unreliable. And then there are the regulators. You've got GDPR, and now the NIS2 directive is becoming really important. Fines there can be substantial.
Right, so SMA Worldwide,
Hmm.
they pride themselves on being efficient, secure. It shows even careful companies are targets. What actually happened in their case?
Well, what's interesting is how they caught it. Their team spotted early warning signs.
Like what?
Things like weird login attempts, unusual patterns in network traffic, maybe data moving at odd hours or to places it shouldn't. Stuff like that.
Little red flags.
Exactly. And because they were watching, those little flags triggered their incident response plan.
So they had a plan ready to go. It wasn't a scramble.
No scramble. They knew what to do. And the attack itself, it was quite sophisticated, apparently. A mix of phishing, trying to fool staff again, and something called credential stuffing.
Credential stuffing, what's that?
It's basically where attackers get lists of usernames and passwords stolen from other website breaches.
Oh, like from big leaks you hear about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they just try those combinations automatically on loads of different sites, including logistics portals, hoping some people reuse passwords.
Okay. Like trying old keys on different locks.
That's a good way to put it. Pretty persistent stuff.
So if they hadn't caught it, what was the potential damage?
It could have been really bad. Attackers might have got access to all sorts of sensitive client data names, addresses, maybe payment info. And crucially, they could have messed up their entire worldwide delivery system.
Wow, operational chaos.
Total chaos for them and their customers.
But they stopped it. You said it was down to their IT team? Monitoring and access controls.
That's what they credit, yeah. Vigilance, the right tools, and solid policies. It sounds like the fundamentals really worked for them.
So how did they break down their successful response? What were the key bits?
They highlighted 5 main things. First, having that predefined incident response plan we mentioned. Roles, responsibilities, actions all mapped out beforehand. No time wasted figuring out who does what.
Makes sense, like a fire drill, but for cyber attack.
Exactly. Second, 24/7 monitoring. Those real-time threat detection tools were essential for actually spotting the weird activity when it happened.
Can't stop what you can't see.
Right. Third, layered security. Things like strong password rules, using multi-factor authentication. You know, the code from your phone or app,
Yeah, MFA.
MFA, and limiting user permissions. So even if one account gets compromised, the attacker can't get everywhere it contains the damage.
Multiple hurdles for the attackers.
Precisely. Fourth, and this is huge staff training, they specifically said their people being trained to spot phishing was a key reason the attack didn't get further.
The human firewall.
That's it. And fifth, doing regular third-party security checks, like penetration testing where ethical hackers try to break in to find weaknesses.
So finding the holes before the bad guys do.
Exactly. Proactive stuff. So yeah, it wasn't luck. It was planning, tech, and people.
Okay, so based on that save, what are they recommending other logistics firms do? They split it into immediate steps and longer-term things.
They did. The immediate steps are pretty practical, things you can often get started on quickly. First, MFA. Implement multi-factor authentication everywhere you possibly can.
Not just some systems, but all of them.
Ideally, yes, especially critical systems and anything internet-facing. They also stress ensuring third-party vendors use it too, as that's often a weak link.
Good point. What else?
Second, get a proper cybersecurity audit done. Look at your internal systems, your external ones, find the vulnerabilities now. Third, install endpoint detection and response EDR software. That's like advanced antivirus for your computers and servers.
Okay, better detection.
Yeah, much smarter. And finally, the basics. Keep everything updated. Patch your systems, your software. So many attacks exploit known flaws that just haven't been fixed.
Simple but effective.
Yeah.
So those are the quick wins. What about the long game?
Long-term strategies are about building that deeper security culture and resilience. Number 1, develop and rehearse a formal incident response plan. Don't just write it, practice it.
Like that fire drill again.
Exactly. Then, continuous cybersecurity training for everyone, not just once a year, but ongoing awareness.
Keeping it front of mind.
Yep. Also, data segmentation. Basically, dividing up your network and data so if one part is breached, the attackers can't easily access everything else.
Containing the blast radius.
Good way to put it. And lastly, really vet your third-party vendors. Check their security practices properly because their vulnerability can become yours.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And they also mentioned regulations like GDPR and NIS2.
Yeah, absolutely crucial. It's not just about avoiding attacks. Staying compliant with these rules is vital. Failures mean big fines, yes, but also loss of customer trust. It can really hurt your ability to compete and grow.
Right, it's table stakes now. You know, we've talked a lot about tech and process, but SMA Worldwide kept coming back to the human element. Why is that so critical?
Because, fundamentally, even the best tech has limits. You can have all the fancy firewalls in the world, but if an employee clicks on a clever phishing link or gets tricked into giving away credentials...
Tech gets bypassed.
Exactly. The human is often the initial target and potentially the weakest link if they're not prepared, but they can also be the strongest defense.
So how did SMA Worldwide build up that human defense, that culture of security awareness?
It sounds like they do more than just send reminder emails. They run regular, engaging training. They even do simulated phishing tests, sending safe, fake phishing emails to see who clicks.
Testing people in a real-world-ish way.
Right. And importantly, they create an environment where people feel safe reporting suspicious things. No blame culture. If something looks weird, tell someone.
That's key, isn't it? People being afraid to speak up is dangerous.
Very. And they actually recognize and reward staff who show good security behavior, making it positive, part of the culture, not just a chore.
That's smart, rewarding the right actions.
Yeah. Their point is, tech spots threats, but often it's a person who stops it in time because they notice something wasn't right. That security-first mindset across the whole company is just incredibly powerful.
Okay, so individual companies need to do their bit, tech and people. But SMA Worldwide also talked about industry collaboration. Why is working together so important here?
But because the threats move so fast. Cybercriminals share tactics, they evolve constantly. No single company, no matter how big, can keep up with everything on its own.
It's an arms race,
It
basically.
really is. So by sharing information carefully, of course, about the threats they're seeing, the tactics being used, companies can build a collective defense. Everyone gets smarter, faster.
A sort of digital neighborhood watch for logistics.
That's a perfect analogy. SMA Worldwide is active in industry forums, sharing what they learn. They encourage everyone else, big or small, to do the same.
So share threat intel with partners.
Yes, share intel, subscribe to updates from bodies like the NCSC here in the UK, engage with trade associations focused on security. It makes the whole sector stronger.
If everyone raises their game, it makes it harder for the criminals overall.
Exactly. It benefits everyone, from the small courier up to the global giants. A rising tide lifts all boats, security-wise.
So wrapping this up then, the big takeaway seems pretty stark. Logistics companies are major targets now. Proactive cybersecurity isn't optional anymore, is it?
Not at all. It's absolutely essential. The potential consequences of doing nothing, operations grinding to a halt, reputation ruined, huge financial hits, they're just too severe to risk.
SMA Worldwide got lucky in a way, but it was luck built on preparation. They had systems, they had awareness, but not everyone will be that prepared if they haven't put the work in.
That's the warning, isn't it? And it's genuinely good of them to share their story, offer their learnings to help others avoid a worse outcome.
Yeah, that's commendable. So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is to stop seeing cybersecurity as just a cost center.
Right. See it as an investment in resilience, in continuity, really in the future of your business.
So here's the question for you listening. Inspired by SMA Worldwide, what's one thing, maybe even a small thing you can do today to make your security posture just that little bit stronger? It could make all the difference.